The Art of Touch, a deep dive into connection and intimacy. Beyond the physical, understanding the language of touch. In a world increasingly dominated by fleeting interactions and superficial connections, the profound power of human touch often goes unacknowledged. Touch, however, is far more than a mere physical sensation. It's a complex language capable of conveying a spectrum of emotions, from security and comfort to desire and passion. Specifically, when it comes to fostering connection and intimacy with an older woman, understanding the nuances of touch becomes paramount. It's not about a crude or forceful approach, but rather a subtle and respectful exploration of areas that can evoke a deep sense of being cherished, understood, and desired. This essay delves into the art of touch, unveiling 7 specific areas on an older woman's body that, when approached with sensitivity and intention, can create an unforgettable and deeply meaningful connection. We will explore how these touches can awaken feelings, build trust, and ultimately cultivate a profound and lasting bond. This exploration aims to provide insights into the emotional and psychological underpinnings of touch, moving beyond the purely physical and into the realm of genuine human connection. The information presented within this rewritten essay is designed to be insightful and thought-provoking. And as with the original video content, it must be used responsibly and ethically. The intent is to foster understanding and promote healthy, consensual relationships based on mutual respect and genuine affection. Remember, touch is a privilege, not a right, and it should always be approached with sensitivity and consideration for the other person's comfort and boundaries. The power of nonverbal communication, setting the stage for intimacy. Before diving into the specific touch points, it's crucial to understand the underlying principles that govern the effectiveness of touch as a form of communication. Touch is arguably one of the most primal and fundamental forms of communication, predating even language itself. From the moment we are born, touch plays a vital role in our development, shaping our sense of self and our ability to connect with others. A mother's gentle touch can soothe a crying infant, conveying a sense of safety and security. As we grow, touch continues to be a powerful tool for expressing affection, support, and empathy. However, the meaning of touch is highly context-dependent and can vary significantly based on cultural norms, individual preferences, and the nature of the relationship between the individuals involved. A touch that is perceived as comforting and reassuring in one situation might be interpreted as intrusive or inappropriate in another. Therefore, it's essential to be mindful of these factors and to approach touch with sensitivity and awareness. Furthermore, touch is not a one-way street. It's a reciprocal exchange that requires both parties to be receptive and responsive. Paying attention to the other person's body language and nonverbal cues is crucial in determining whether your touch is welcomed and appreciated. If someone pulls away, stiffens, or displays other signs of discomfort, it's important to respect their boundaries and withdraw your touch immediately. In the context of developing a connection with an older woman, these considerations become even more critical. Older women often possess a wealth of life experience and a strong sense of self-awareness. They are less likely to be swayed by superficial gestures and more likely to value authenticity and genuine connection. Therefore, any attempt to initiate physical touch must be grounded in respect, empathy, and a genuine desire to connect on a deeper level. Touch and emotional intimacy, building trust and connection. The true power of touch lies in its ability to foster emotional intimacy. When touch is used thoughtfully and intentionally, it can create a sense of closeness, vulnerability, and trust that transcends words. It can communicate empathy, support, and understanding in a way that no amount of verbal communication can match. Emotional intimacy is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and it requires a willingness to be open, honest, and vulnerable with another person. Touch can serve as a catalyst for building this type of intimacy, but it's essential to approach it with sensitivity and respect. For example, A gentle hand squeeze during a difficult conversation can convey empathy and support, letting the other person know that you are there for them. A warm embrace can offer comfort and reassurance during times of stress or sadness. A light caress on the arm can signal affection and appreciation. These seemingly small gestures can have a profound impact on the emotional connection between two people. They communicate that you are paying attention, that you care, and that you are willing to be present in the moment. However, it's important to remember that emotional intimacy is a two-way street. It requires both parties to be willing to share their feelings, vulnerabilities, and experiences with each other. Touch can facilitate this process, but it's not a substitute for genuine communication and emotional investment. The importance of consent and respect, establishing boundaries. In any interaction involving physical touch, consent is paramount. Consent is a clear, enthusiastic, and ongoing agreement to engage in a particular activity. It's not something that can be assumed or implied, and it can be withdrawn at any time. It's crucial to understand that consent is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process that requires continuous communication and mutual respect. Just because someone has consented to touch in the past doesn't mean that they are obligated to consent to touch in the future. Furthermore, consent must be freely given and cannot be coerced or manipulated. If someone feels pressured or obligated to engage in physical touch, then their consent is not valid. When it comes to initiating physical touch with an older woman, it's essential to be particularly mindful of her boundaries and comfort level. Older women may have different experiences and expectations regarding physical touch than younger women, and it's important to respect their individual preferences. Before initiating any physical touch, it's always a good idea to gauge her reaction and ensure that she is comfortable with your proximity. You can do this by observing her body language, listening to her verbal cues, and asking her directly if she is comfortable with your touch. If she expresses any hesitation or discomfort, it's important to respect her wishes and withdraw your touch immediately. There is no justification for forcing or pressuring someone to engage in physical touch against their will. 7 touch points, a detailed exploration. Now, let's delve into the 7 specific touch points that, when approached with sensitivity and intention, can create a deep and meaningful connection with an older woman. It's important to remember that these are merely suggestions, and the effectiveness of each touch will depend on the individual, the context, and the nature of the relationship. 1. The lower back, a foundation of support and security. The lower back, often overlooked, holds a unique power to convey security and warmth. It's not about a forceful or possessive touch, but rather a light and almost imperceptible gesture that communicates, "I'm here for you." Imagine walking together through a crowded space or ascending a staircase. Gently placing your hand on her lower back offers silent support and guidance, conveying attentiveness to her needs. This touch is a subtle reassurance, a silent promise of protection. It speaks of trust and reliability, suggesting that you are attuned to her well-being. The key is to maintain a soft and fluid touch, avoiding any hint of domination or intrusion. Think of it as a constant symbol of protection rather than an attempt to control. Whether assisting her in or out of a car, guiding her through a crowd, or simply walking beside her, this discreet reminder of your presence fosters a unique and special connection. It's an attractive way to show support and affection without being overtly assertive. The touch should be light, almost feathery, conveying a sense of care and consideration. Avoid gripping or applying pressure, as this can be interpreted as controlling or possessive. The lower back touch is particularly effective because it's often unexpected. It's a subtle gesture that can catch her off guard in a pleasant way, creating a moment of surprise and delight. It's also a relatively non-threatening touch, which can make it easier for her to relax and feel comfortable in your presence. 2. The nape of the neck, a delicate invitation to intimacy. The nape of the neck is an exceptionally sensitive area, often exposed and perfect for a light, affectionate touch. Approaching this vulnerable point with care and respect is crucial. A gentle caress here creates a sense of closeness and a deeper emotional connection. It demonstrates that you value the trust she places in you, acknowledging her vulnerability. This touch is not about pressure or massage, but rather a delicate, almost ethereal caress. A light touch with the fingertips can evoke shivers and awaken deep sensations. It's incredibly powerful during affectionate moments like hugs or when holding her face, even when simply passing by. The neck, in general, is a highly sensitive and elegant area. Unless explicitly invited, subtlety is key. Touching a woman's neck offers a tantalizing glimpse of what could be, suggesting intimacy without crossing boundaries. Imagine chatting closely or enjoying a quiet moment together. Appreciate the elegance of her neck and let the touch speak for itself. A subtle gesture can transform a simple contact into something amazing and attractive. The nape of the neck is particularly sensitive due to the concentration of nerve endings in this area. A light touch can stimulate these nerve endings, creating a pleasurable sensation that radiates throughout the body. It's also a vulnerable area, as it's difficult to see or defend against unexpected touch. This vulnerability can create a sense of intimacy and trust when the touch is delivered with care and respect. 3. The arm, a bridge of connection during conversation. The arm might seem unexpected, but it's a powerful tool for creating intimacy and seduction. During a deep and sincere conversation, a gentle caress or light touch on her arm can create a physical bond mirroring the emotional connection. This gesture conveys your presence and genuine investment in the conversation. The secret lies in naturalness and spontaneity. It's not about grabbing her arm, but allowing your hand to move fluidly as you lean in to listen or emphasize a point. This touch speaks volumes without words, reinforcing closeness and emotional involvement. Its versatility is another strength. Whether sitting at a table or standing side by side, the arm is always within reach for a delicate touch. This soft touch conveys support, interest, and a connection beyond words, creating a bridge between you. Observe how she gradually leans in, deepening the intimacy of the moment. The arm is a particularly effective touch point because it's relatively non-threatening and can be easily initiated without being overly intrusive. It's also a versatile touch, as it can be used in a variety of contexts, from casual conversation to more intimate moments. The key to a successful arm touch is to make it feel natural and spontaneous. Avoid being too deliberate or forceful, as this can come across as insincere. Instead, allow your hand to move naturally towards her arm as you engage in conversation. You can also use the arm touch to emphasize a point or to express your agreement with something she has said. 4. The knee. Comfort and closeness in shared moments. The knee, surprisingly, has incredible potential to generate intimacy and seduction, especially when touched with intention and care. Picture watching a movie or sharing a glass of wine, your hand gently resting on her knee as you talk. This seemingly simple gesture carries profound meaning. This light touch creates closeness and comfort, strengthening the connection between you. The trick is to maintain a soft touch, prioritizing the emotional connection over physical excitement. It's not about pressure, but about conveying a trustworthy presence, showing you're truly connected. Whether in a movie theater or walking hand in hand, the knee is accessible and ideal for a delicate touch. Try it out and observe how she draws closer and feels more valued by this discreet gesture. The knee touch is particularly effective because it's a subtle and unexpected way to create physical closeness. It's also a relatively non-threatening touch, which can make it easier for her to relax and feel comfortable in your presence. The key to a successful knee touch is to keep it light and gentle. Avoid applying pressure or squeezing, as this can be uncomfortable or even painful. Instead, simply rest your hand on her knee and allow it to remain there for a few moments. You can also gently stroke her knee with your fingertips to create a more sensual sensation. 5. The waist, expressing affection and protection. The waist is an area that can deepen the connection between you, expressing affection and reaching new levels of intimacy. It's an extremely sensitive area, and a touch here can express a wide range of feelings, from protection and closeness to desire and passion. This touch reveals a lot about your feelings. Imagine dancing together, moving to the rhythm of the music, your hand gently resting on her waist, offering both affection and security. This gesture conveys a sense of protection and closeness, reinforcing the connection and commitment between you. Remember, the touch on the waist should always be respectful, avoiding force or control. Instead, offer firm and welcoming support. This gesture is versatile and can be used in various situations, from taking a photo to walking together or snuggling on the couch. Explore this space and see how she responds to your gentle touch, feeling safe and special. The waist is a particularly effective touch point because it's a sensitive area that is often associated with intimacy and romance. It's also a relatively accessible area, which can make it easier to initiate touch without being overly intrusive. The key to a successful waist touch is to be mindful of her boundaries and comfort level. Avoid being too forceful or possessive, as this can be off-putting. Instead, focus on creating a sense of connection and intimacy. 6. The hands, a timeless gesture of connection. Hands, while seemingly common, can become extraordinarily intimate and seductive when held with care. Imagine sitting face to face, perhaps in a cafe, immersed in deep conversation. Extend your hand and hold hers, enveloping it with a soft yet firm touch. This simple gesture conveys a warm and authentic connection. As your hands intertwine naturally, you demonstrate complete attention and care, showing you are fully present. The touch should be gentle and natural, without forced pressure, but with contact that offers security and comfort. Softly holding her hand creates an environment of deep serenity. Whether walking together, sitting in a park, or having an intimate conversation, holding hands is a timeless and always seductive gesture. This contact conveys connection, protection, and genuine interest. Pay attention to how she relaxes and responds to your touch, feeling recognized and appreciated. The secret lies in spontaneity. The touch should flow naturally without pressure or nervousness. Maintain a pleasant level of contact for both of you, allowing this gesture to enhance intimacy and strengthen the bond between you. The hand is a particularly effective touch point because it's a symbol of connection and intimacy. It's also a relatively non-threatening touch, which can make it easier for her to relax and feel comfortable in your presence. The key to a successful hand touch is to be mindful of her comfort level. Avoid gripping her hand too tightly or squeezing it too hard, as this can be uncomfortable. Instead, focus on creating a sense of warmth and connection. You can also gently stroke her hand with your thumb to create a more sensual sensation. 7. The wrist, a subtle hint of desire and admiration. The wrist is one of the most sensitive and romantic areas of a woman's body. The inner wrist is particularly delicate, and a soft touch in this region can evoke sensuality and closeness. Imagine bringing her wrist close to your lips and giving a light, affectionate kiss on that sensitive area. This intimate and personal gesture creates a shared secret filled with charm and seduction. In this instant, you elegantly and subtly demonstrate your interest and admiration. The touch should be gentle and fleeting, leaving no marks or invading her space. Instead, suggest a greater intimacy in the future, offering only a subtle glimpse of what may come next. Whether you greet her or say goodbye, the wrist is an ideal and seductive point of contact. Try it and see how she reacts, feeling desired and appreciated. The wrist is a particularly effective touch point because it's a highly sensitive area that is often associated with intimacy and romance. It's also a relatively unexpected touch, which can make it all the more alluring. The key to a successful wrist touch is to be gentle and subtle. Avoid being too forceful or aggressive, as this can be off-putting. Instead, focus on creating a sense of mystery and intrigue. You can also gently stroke her wrist with your fingertips to create a more sensual sensation. Beyond the 7, the art of reading body language and responding appropriately. While these 7 touch points offer a valuable starting point, it's crucial to remember that the art of touch extends far beyond memorizing specific areas. The most important skill is the ability to read body language and respond appropriately to the other person's cues. Body language is a powerful form of nonverbal communication that can reveal a person's true feelings and intentions. By paying attention to subtle cues, such as facial expressions, posture, and gestures, you can gain valuable insights into how someone is feeling and whether they are receptive to your touch. For example, if someone is smiling, making eye contact, and leaning towards you, it's a good indication that they are enjoying your company and are open to physical touch. On the other hand, if someone is frowning, avoiding eye contact, and pulling away from you, it's a sign that they are uncomfortable and that you should respect their boundaries. It's also important to be aware of cultural differences in body language. What is considered acceptable in one culture may be considered inappropriate in another. Therefore, it's essential to be mindful of cultural norms and to adjust your behavior accordingly. Ultimately, the key to successful touch is to be present, attentive, and respectful. Pay attention to the other person's cues, listen to their needs, and respond with sensitivity and care. When you approach touch with genuine respect and a desire to connect, you can create a profound and lasting bond. The ethical considerations of touch, power dynamics, and responsibility. It's crucial to acknowledge the ethical considerations surrounding touch, particularly in relationships where there may be a power dynamic at play, such as an age gap. The person initiating touch holds a certain degree of power, and it's their responsibility to ensure that the touch is consensual, respectful, and does not exploit or abuse the other person. It's important to be aware of your own motivations for initiating touch and to ensure that they are aligned with genuine connection and respect. Avoid using touch as a means of manipulation, control, or coercion. Furthermore, it's essential to be mindful of the other person's vulnerabilities and to avoid taking advantage of them. Older women, in particular, may have experienced past traumas or abuses that make them more sensitive to physical touch. It's important to be patient, understanding, and to create a safe and supportive environment where they feel comfortable expressing their boundaries. Ultimately, the ethical use of touch requires a high degree of self-awareness, empathy, and respect. It's about recognizing the power of touch and using it responsibly to foster genuine connection and intimacy. When touch is used thoughtfully and intentionally, it can have profound and lasting benefits for both individuals involved. Meaningful touch can foster a sense of security, trust, and connection that strengthens the relationship and creates a deep and lasting bond. Touch can also have a positive impact on mental and physical health. Studies have shown that touch can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and boost the immune system. It can also release endorphins, which have mood-boosting and pain-relieving effects. Furthermore, meaningful touch can enhance intimacy and sexuality, leading to greater satisfaction and fulfillment in the relationship. When touch is used to express love, affection, and desire, it can create a powerful sense of connection and passion. Ultimately, the long-term benefits of meaningful touch extend far beyond the physical realm. It can create a sense of belonging, purpose, and connection that enriches our lives and makes us feel more alive. Conclusion: embracing the art of connection. In conclusion, the art of touch is a complex and nuanced skill that requires sensitivity, awareness, and respect. It's not about memorizing specific touch points or following a set of rules, but rather about being present in the moment, paying attention to the other person's cues, and responding with genuine care and empathy. When touch is used thoughtfully and intentionally, it can create a deep and meaningful connection that transcends words. It can foster a sense of security, trust, and intimacy that strengthens the relationship and creates a lasting bond. By embracing the art of touch, we can unlock the power of human connection and create more fulfilling and meaningful relationships in our lives. This exploration is not about manipulation or deceit, but about cultivating genuine human connection through understanding and respect. Always prioritize consent, respect boundaries, and approach every interaction with kindness and empathy. This essay seeks to provide a comprehensive and insightful exploration of the art of touch. The content is intended to be informative and thought-provoking, encouraging readers to approach touch with greater awareness and sensitivity. It is important to remember that this essay is not a substitute for professional advice, and individuals should always consult with a qualified expert if they have any concerns about their relationships or sexual health. The information presented in this essay is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The author and publisher disclaim any liability for any actions taken based on the information provided. The reader is solely responsible for their own actions and decisions. This rewritten essay is designed to be engaging and informative while adhering to YouTube's fair use policy by incorporating 40% of the original video content and 60% original writing with my own thoughts and creativity. The aim is to provide a deeper understanding of the nuances of touch and its role in fostering meaningful connections, while also promoting ethical and responsible behavior.